Well, I'm here to review step number 3 of the 67 steps by Ty Lopez. These are frameworks and guidelines to get you everything you want in life. He defines that as the good life, which is health, wealth, love, and happiness. This one is called Sam Walton's Night in a Brazilian Jail, Stealing from McDonald's, and Michael Jordan's Humility. The humility it takes to overcome. And of course, this one is all about humility. Mega successful people in life perhaps come across as cocky or arrogant, but where we really need to be looking at is not what they say, but in their actions. Ty explains that there's 2 different kinds of humility that you can do in the world: outward and inward humility. Outward humility is what a lot of people have, and it's the less desirable one. It's where you just admit you don't know everything, you need to learn more, you need to maybe exercise more, eat cleaner, things like that. But where it really counts is in your actions. And that's called inward humility. And it's really all about whether or not you're taking the actions that would help you become better at your skill or area of your life that you want to improve. One person that was extremely arrogant on the outside and even borderline cocky was Michael Jordan. Although according to his coaches and teammates, what made Michael Jordan great and remarkable was his ability to listen and his ability to be coached and take advice from people maybe that even yet hadn't achieved the success that he had. So that's Michael Jordan's humility. Even when he was the best athlete in the world, he would still practice bounce passes with his teammates every day at practice. So he would master the fundamentals. He could have very easily said to his coach, Phil Jackson, why do we need to practice these basics? Obviously, we're the best team in the league. We keep winning game after game after game. But he was humble enough to heed the advice of his coaches. Ty gives a series of 4 questions in this lesson for you to determine with a numerical value what your humility score is. Because it's one thing, again, to say that you're being humble, but it's another thing to actually be able to prove it. And each of these questions you need to give an answer of 1 through 10 and then average them all out by all 4 of them. And the first question is, how many mentors do you have? How many books are you reading? How much are you spending on learning? For example, going to seminars, going to courses, flying to visit mentors. And the last question is, how much are you learning from your competitors? One person that was extremely humble despite their amazing success was Sam Walton of Walmart. I referred to him in the previous video, but Sam Walton created Walmart and Sam's Club and made $160 billion. But even when he was a billionaire, Sam Walton bought a private plane and would fly to visit his competitor stores to see if they knew something that he didn't know. Even if they weren't making as much money as him, he was open-minded enough. And perhaps Sam Walton would get a 40, which is the optimal score on that humility score that we just took. And for that, he received $160 billion. And the referring to the Sam Walton's night in a Brazilian jail, Sam Walton, long story short, visited his kind of friends that he was mentoring in Brazil, and he stopped at a retail store in Brazil and was actually arrested because people thought he was crazy because he was on his hands and knees measuring the width of the aisles in the particular store because he wanted to see if these Brazilians, again, knew something that he didn't know. So he had humility. The stealing from McDonald's is the idea from Ray Kroc, who was a business person that sold milkshake machines to restaurants around the country, usually 1 or 2 of them, but the McDonald's brothers in San Bernardino, California, had the burger joint that we now know as McDonald's, but back then it was a store, the singular store. And basically, long story short, he convinced, and when he flew to them and visited them, he saw their remarkable business sense, and he actually convinced the McDonald's brothers to franchise their business. And so the idea of that is kind of being like the mental Robin Hood. You steal ideas from the rich and implement them into your own life. And Ray Kroc was humble enough to see the opportunity and know that he didn't have to reinvent the wheel, so to speak. He was able to simply take the McDonald's brothers idea and just replicate it. So we have to overcome this idea that being humble means that you don't know everything and that should be something to be ashamed of. That's opportunity for growth. So one thing that I'm working on right now is I'm trying to grow this YouTube channel, or at least become better at it. And I'm using this principle that I'm learning in these 67 steps to study my competition and try to see who's at the top of YouTube and try to replicate them, because you're probably only going to be about 10% as good as the people that you copy. So you might as well copy the best. So this question is all about you being humble. Oh yeah, another thing that Ty pointed out was one person that we may not think is that humble, even though we don't know much about them, is Jeff Bezos, owner of Amazon. You know, he's had some pretty remarkable success with Amazon, of course. Everybody knows about it. But he actually carried Sam Walton's book, Made in America, around with him as he was growing Amazon, and he wrote things down. So that shows that he actually had a lot more humility than you may think, because writing stuff down shows that you find it important, and it also shows that you're not so overly confident that you can just rely on your memory. So this lesson is concluded with a question to unlock the next one. And the question for you is, what's the number one area in your life, in health, wealth, love, and happiness, that you haven't been humble enough in? And what can you do today to implement more humility? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on step number 4 of the 67 steps.